Next is from Dale Fortunio, and the subject is dull knife, not a sword. Hey gang, thanks for muting Joe Fiend on his hate for Kiwi's wife.
Okay, that wasn't.
We're gonna suspend this guy from the match. Didn't I say we're not gonna mention that anymore because it's getting lame?
You said no more jokes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a joke then, and then we're gonna suspend this guy from the mailbag.
Sorry, Dale.
Okay. Anyway, was listening to AEW and I can't help but think of how an overrated Excalibur needs to have guidance in his ear at all times. I know Vince is always in people's headset during any televised event to ad nauseum, but I think it helps put over talent in the long run. Let's forget about how ridiculous he sounds naming Japanese moves out of thin air could be, or how he sounds like he's relieving himself at least once during each match. The main issue is that as soon as these new signings debut, he instantly has to say he was in the ring with them for a match X amount of years ago. It instantly makes you think that the new talent just come from a low-rent backyard free-for-all where everyone does everything. It instantly mitigates the talent. He's done this with Malachi Black, Brody King the other day, and several other times he talks about competing with others in the past. Remember that time Jim Ross talked about fighting Doom? Bonus question. Where the hell is Super Callow? Thanks for the laugh. Unfortunately, Conan would know the answer to where Super Callow is, but he's not here. I was shocked when Excalibur was named like the announcer of the year. I mean, he's all right, but it's not like his announcing is, I don't know. They embrace the indie level stuff here. A guy comes from the indies. It's like, hey, here's a guy from the indies. It's like they don't really they take the indie performers. They don't repackage them. They don't rebrand them. They just take the indie performers from the indies and stick them on their stage or on AEW and just that's who they are. These are guys from the indies. And it's like.
Can I just say?
Go ahead.
That question was not really a question. It was basically just he just vented his opinion. Like what? Right. I'm trying to even. What was the question in that? Like he basically just buried Excalibur and just went, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
Where is Super Calo is also.
That's the question.
No.
Yeah, he didn't really have that question. Right?
No, I'm afraid.
What do you think of it? What do you think about Excalibur as an announcer?
I think that he. I thought like he was the announcer for my match with Cody at All In, and I enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job. Look, the criticism about saying that he's been in the ring with these people or whatever, I don't have an issue with that, because anytime I've done guest commentary or even sort of did some sort of semi-permanent color commentary with Ring of Honor, I use that a lot because it's a good. That's kind of for me. I always thought that was a good point of reference. That was something that again, Heenan as an example. Heenan would say, this man is fantastic. I managed this man. I can tell you this guy will do anything to win. This guy will win at all costs. So I think if it's used in context, because for me, again, this is just my sort of instinct when it comes to commentating. My instinct is always to get whoever over, get them over at all costs. Like even if it's, even sometimes if the match is not very good, like I had fun being a commentator the few times that I did it in Impact and stuff like that. I always seem to get good feedback. But I will say that every time I had done commentary on a match, it had always been on a good match, and it had been on a match that I was deeply involved with. So I had a lot of, intellectual investment in. It's very different when you have a completely cold match with two people that you know nothing about, and you're sitting there looking at some notes. Ian Riccaboni, great guy, great announcer. His wife went into labor early, unexpectedly, and we were in Miami for Ring of Honor. And so about a few hours before the show, they're like, Ian has to go. Can you do play-by-play? And I'm like, what? Play-by-play for the whole show? And I did, and it was terrifying. And I wasn't very good.
Wait, you did play-by-play, not color?
I did play-by-play. Yeah, I was supposed to be doing. It was 3-man. It was Ian, myself, and Caprice. And again, it just happened organically because I'd been doing some guest stuff to sort of get over like matches and stuff I had coming up. I was the NWA champion. And they were like, we really like you having you on commentary. Do you want to do it some more? And I was like, yeah, of course. But anyway, this one day, then it's like they come to Caprice and I and say, Ian has to go. So one of you has to do play-by-play. And Caprice kind of looks at me and goes, I think you should do it. And then Hunter is like, yeah, I think you should too. So I kind of went, okay, well, All right. Ian, I have a great respect for play-by-play guys because any given day you can have any number of wrestlers on your monitor who you know nothing about, who you're seeing for the first time. And it's very easy to get, confused and mixed up and start kind of tripping over yourself when you're trying to read notes and you've got someone in your ear saying, oh, do this, do that, plug this, plug that. And I remember just like a couple of matches, there was one match that was these two Japanese girls. I think they were doing like a women's tournament or something. And I'd never seen them before. And Ian, bless his heart, he'd done all this research and I've got this page of notes and this one girl comes out and it's like, she's been the, Dream Cloud, like super 14, something or other grand champion. And I'm sort of reading this stuff and I'm going like, I have no idea. Like,
you don't even know what that is.
He could have, I trusted him obviously, but I'm also sitting there going, do I just sound like a complete buffoon, like saying this stuff? Like, and after a while, I just sort of got to a point where I was just like, well, these two ladies are going to go at it today, and we're going to see who's going to prove himself, because I'm just
right. Let me ask you this
stuff because it just gets to a point where it's like it's overdone. Once it becomes obvious to me that you've got a load of notes in front of you, that's to me where it becomes a bit sort of overwhelming the audience.
Let me ask you this about Excalibur. Have you seen him without the mask on?
No.
Have you, Joe? Do you know what this guy looks like without the mask? Is he like ugly or something or not? Because to me, this is my take on him. I'd never heard of Excalibur. I mean, if he was that big of a deal on the Indies, it's like, or wherever he was, I don't know where he was, but like he's wearing his mask on the show.
Well, yeah, he was one of the guys that founded PWG.
Yeah.
He's wearing a mask on the show. If I don't know I've never seen this guy in the Indies, like I'm tuning in, I'm like, why is this schmuck wearing a mask and who is he? And there's like people say, oh, that's Excalibur. Like Excalibur's never been on mainstream television till this, and it's like I think he looks ridiculous with the mask on. If he's gonna be an announcer, he should take the mask off and just be himself. In my opinion, I think
you're not the only person who has shared that opinion. I don't know how I feel about it one way or the other because I think back to when I was a fan, and I think back to tuning into certain stuff, and when everyone jumps in the business at some point, right? Like nobody has complete point of reference for everything. And I'm sure that when I first jumped into the business, there was all kinds of stuff being referenced that I didn't really understand. But I just but if it's good enough and it's done with enough enthusiasm, it's kind of, to me, I don't mind because I just remember I try to think about things as if I were a fan rather than as a curmudgeonly wrestler.
Yo, what up? This is Conan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!